AudioQuest is in trouble. Big trouble. The days when AudioQuest could say whatever it wanted are coming to an end. Once, this company was heralded to have the best portable DACs, and AudioQuest charges exorbitant prices for those devices. But recently, Chinese manufacturers have entered the fray. They have started to directly challenge the space AudioQuest has occupied for years. The first worthwhile contender is the monolith USB DAC. Now, Ikko has released the Zerda, a USB DAC that rivals the AudioQuest products. Zerda. What is a Zerda? I have no idea, but it's the name that Ikko chose for its USB DACs. That's right, I said DACs, as in plural. There are two versions, both perform exactly the same. One is for USB-C devices and the other is for iOS with Lightning connection. Ikko manufactures IEMs, that's how they first came to light. Now they've taken a stab at the portable DAC market. The Zerda is marketed for mobile devices like phones and tablets, but don't let that marketing fool you. The Zerda is equally good for laptops and desktops. I got my hand on the Zerda USB-C and Lightning DACs by reaching out to Ikko. I asked them if they were interested in sending me either for an honest review on my channel. They asked if I would review both the USB-C and the Lightning versions. I said I'd be happy to. Then they asked if I would be willing to review their OH1 IEMs. Well, yeah, of course, and so they sent that to me as well. Expect thorough reviews of each of these products in the future. Anyway, the Zerda is an exceptionally interesting product. Ikko put in a Cirrus Logic 43198 DAC, the same that's in the Astral & Kern SR15 and a few other well-regarded digital audio players that cost an arm and a leg, by the way. The Zerda is plug-and-play. It has a 3.5mm output, but that 3.5mm doubles as an optical output as well. In other words, you could theoretically use the Zerda to convert your USB-C computer to a 3.5mm optical out, if you so desired. The DAC performance here seems impressive on paper. The Zerda supports PCM up to 32 bits at 384 kHz. It also supports DSD-128. Whether you use the 3.5mm for the headphones or optical will determine the sample rate of your audio. Consequently, if you just plug your headphones in, then you'll get the full PCM support up to 32 bits at 384 kHz. However, if you use the 3.5mm as an optical out, then that signal drops to 32-bit at 192 kHz. DSD-128 is available whether you use the 3.5mm for headphones or an optical output. It makes no difference. The Zerda is made of aluminum. It feels solid. Ikko says that the cable they use is made by Monster. I don't think name-dropping Monster is particularly relevant in 2020. Regardless, the cable seems pretty sturdy. I could not find any weak points. The Zerda comes only in one color, royal blue. It looks pretty good to me, and it's the company's signature color scheme. The paint job seems well done. I cannot see any manufacturing defects. One of the issues I worry about with USB DACs is accidentally chopping them off on the USB port. I have to be very careful when I pick up my laptop with a USB DAC attached to it. Sometimes one of my dogs will jump on the couch and use my laptop as a convenient head warmer, which is a dangerous proposition when you have the plastic monolith USB DAC attached. I think it's smart to have a USB DAC that has a short cable from the USB port to the DAC itself. It provides more freedom of movement. The Zerda has no noise or hiss or distortion that I can hear either with IEMs or headphones. It is dead silent with no audio playing. This is once again more evidence that when AudioQuest pushes their USB decrapifier products, they are misleading you. One problem I had with the Zerda is finding meaningful specifications. There is no information about power output. Ikko says that the DAC will support headphones up to 600 ohms. Okay, well, we shall see. For my initial test, I paired the USB-C Zerda to my 2017 MacBook Pro. I used the Sennheiser HD660S, which are 150 ohms. At 25% volume, my HD660S got loud enough that I could not hear the clicking of my keyboard. This was a pleasant surprise. In my experience, whenever companies do not tell you amplification measurements, they are trying to hide a critical fact. But here, with the Zerda, it appears that the amplification is certainly plenty to drive headphones like the HD660S. I have to emphasize that the volume will depend on the track you're listening to. Mountains by Hans Zimmer, for example, always needs more amplification than Orla Gartland's songs. Speaking of mountains, the Zerda was taken up to about 70% volume, and the song was exactly the loudness I needed to hear the rumble. In Pure Water, 70% volume also seemed just about right. Orla Gartland's song Why Am I Like This sounded clear and undistorted. Orla has natural sibilance in her voice and a bit of graininess. The Zerda did not overemphasize the sibilance or the grain. I kept the volume below 50% on this song. The Cirrus Logic DAC chip is neutral, consequently the Zerda sounds neutral. However, you have to consider the headphones you are using when trying to describe sound signature. I have said this many times before and I shall repeat here. The headphones you use will affect the sound signature a lot more than the nuanced differences amongst DAC chipsets. Consequently, although the chip in the Zerda is neutral, you will hear a warmer sound signature if you use the Marshall monitors than if you use the Focal Clear, for example. Regardless, I hear no harshness or graininess from the Zerda. There is no noise or distortion when the music is playing. After factoring the HD660S and its particular sound signature, I can say that the Zerda does not seem to add more bass, mids, or treble emphasis to the songs. By the way, I have read several reviews about the Zerda, and I must provide a lengthy note of caution. I feel it is incumbent upon me to underscore particular misinformation currently being spread about this product. Several so-called reviewers online have stated that the Zerda has a warm sound signature. Their laughable test parameters are not trustworthy. Indeed, it appears that those who claim that the Zerda is not neutral base their arguments on shockingly bad tests. None of the online reviewers I found had trustworthy test parameters. The so-called reviewers either did not provide any information what headphones they used, or did not say what songs they played, or did not say how they volume matched any competitors, or did not say with particularity what differences they believe they actually heard. One reviewer even commented that he did not think that the Zerda could drive headphones and only use 16 ohm IEMs. This same person said that the Zerda has a small soundstage, a statement which shows this reviewer's lack of knowledge. DACs do not influence soundstage. Another reviewer stated that the Zerda has a warm and not particularly detailed sound signature. Of course, he said this while using the Meze 99 Classics, a headphone that is specifically designed for smoothness and warm tones. With such lazy reviews, it is difficult for people to know what is a good purchase. But as you know, I conduct thorough tests of every product. You can count on the same with the Zerda. My process takes many weeks, so for those who simply want a quick answer based upon my initial tests, here are the bullet points. Number 1. The Zerda easily drives headphones up to 150 ohms, and at 50% volume, the headphones become loud enough to block any ambient noise. Number 2. The Zerda has a fairly neutral DAC chip. There is no emphasis in the bass, mids, or treble. Number 3. My initial impressions are that the Zerda has either the same or very similar sound signature to the AudioQuest Cobalt. I leave room for some difference as I have compared both for only a few hours. Number 4. The Zerda is plug and play and does not require you to download drivers. And number 5. The Zerda provides more features than any of the AudioQuest products. One issue I should point out is that for some reason the Zerda disconnected from my MacBook Pro when another DAC was inserted. If I put either the Cobalt or the Monolith DACs into the USB port after the Zerda, then the macOS would not recognize the Zerda. The fix is to manually unplug and replug the Zerda. Of course, this is only a minor irritation and only for those who intend to do A/B tests. Overall, I am intrigued by the Zerda. Ikko is not the first manufacturer to release a DAC amp in this form factor. But as far as I know, theirs is the first to have excellent audiophile features like DXD and DSD-128 and a dual 3.5mm output. Some might suggest that the Next Drive Spectra X is an alternative, but the Spectra are double the price, and whether you will hear the difference between DSD-128 and DSD-256 is an academic debate at best, and only worth considering if you actually have songs in these high-resolution formats. I am looking forward to the review process comparing the Zerda to the Cobalt and Monolith USB DAC. This might be another great alternative against the overpriced and overhyped name brands.